All right, we are continuing our podcast from earlier. This is mainly about WWE Summerslam. Want to talk about some things about that. Ross, I know you're just going to be with us for a little bit. Tell me some of your takes about the whole thing. Whatever you saw, whatever you heard.
I heard Logan Paul did really good.
Did you watch it?
I watched some clips of it, but I was reading a lot of comments, and they said a lot of comments that they were really impressed with him. And
well, that's Kevin's favorite wrestler now. So
who's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Logan Paul.
It's not my favorite, but I'll say he did a good job.
Golly, I hate that guy.
Not
better than I expected.
Not really sure what Jeff Jarrett had to do with being the special guest referee. I mean, because he played zero part in the outcome of that.
I don't know if it was because, he's like a singer, guitar, like that, and then we were in Nashville. I don't know if that was a deal. I don't know. Kevin, do you know anything about that?
I don't know. I think that's probably one thing because it's in Nashville, music and all that stuff, and I think he's like a vice president for WWE now as well, and
something
like that. And he was also in Flair's last match too. So I think all of that, and plus I think they just wanted to add, just add somebody too.
Since it was SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan, that was disappointing. Really short-lived match.
Me and Kevin thought about that too. Like I get it, but like it's one of those things now. It seems like you're fixing to write Ronda Rousey off because obviously she's going to get suspended. Like she attacked an official.
Yeah.
But then again, so here's my thing about the tap out. Liv did tap before he hit 3, but but then again, the count was already in effect. So does the count, since it was already starting, does that go before, I know it's just a storyline, but I've never really thought about that either. Like it was already, the count was going.
I figure there's got to be something, there's going to be something more to it now that, that happened. She's going to have to she tapped before she pinned me and all that stuff. So I figured there's going to be a continuation of it.
Well, because now my thing is everybody's like, Liv wanted this, and Liv has went through a long road, and I've liked her, and I've wanted her to be Money in the Bank before, or win the title before, or get the number 1 contender. So now I feel like, are they going to try to turn her bad where they're going to twist it like, well, you won it off a technicality, and now she's going to, kind of be mean at the good guys or the good girls and kind of go back at the crowd, Like I kind of don't want that. I want her to kind of ride this baby face thing for a little while.
And then the only other comment I have on SummerSlam, Brock and Roman, just same old crap, different day.
But is it though? Because that was a great match. But here's my thing, Ross. Think about, I don't know how much you watched it when it was before John Cena. Every week, it would be Rock and Triple H or whatever. And then Rock and Triple H would fight for the title on Sunday night. And then Rock would win and turn around. Triple H would come out with the McMahon-Helmsley era. And they would win off cheating. And he'd get his title back for Monday. They've only fought 8 times only on pay-per-views. And they were tied 3-3,
Well, and my comment to that is it's so much different now than it was then, because back then you had no clue what was going to happen.
Well, true.
And now it's just okay, you slated it as the last time. This is it. They're not fighting anymore after this. Okay, so just go ahead and tell us that Roman's going to win. I mean, the predictability.
Well, that's not. I even thought, I told Kevin I probably could see Roman Reigns winning, but then again, I could see Brock Lesnar winning to give Roman some time off and either since it was a last man standing match, Theory would have came down and cashed in, and now he's got the belt for a while Brock leaves, Roman's gone for a while, or even something like that. Like, I really didn't know. Like at WrestleMania, I figured Roman was going to win, but like,
and that would be fine if, like I said, you didn't have like Roman saying like, I really don't want to wrestle him anymore. He's brutal. He's tough to be in the ring with. I don't want to do it anymore. Oh, this is going to be the final time between the two of them. Okay, so if it's the final time, that means Brock can't win, because if he wins, Roman will get a rematch, and that means they have to fight again. So the predictability of it is infuriating to me. The brutality of it is great, but the predictability of it, oh God,
I think the main thing with this match is, I would be fine with watching Brock and Roman 100 times. I love Brock, and I like Roman too, and I like 90%. Other than WrestleMania, I like 90% of what they do, as opposed to all the flipping and flopping everybody else does. But I think that the main thing, and I don't know if y'all have covered this, but I think the main thing with, WWE was kind of had their backs against the wall because with all the injuries they've had.
Yeah. Well, like even when I was talking about with, Rock and Triple H, they fought like over 20 something times just between like 98 and 2003, whenever Rock kind of started going out. So in those 4 or 5 years, they they fought over 20 times on pay-per-views.
Right.
And that was, as much as I hated it, I don't know who I was telling this to. I really want to see somebody come in, whether it's that Judgment Day group, or I want to see somebody take over, and whether Triple H comes and does like what McMahon did back in the late 90s, 2000, and like screws people over. As much as I hated it, and I want Rock to win, or I want Stone Cold win, I hated seeing Triple H, but then again, that's what makes Triple H so great. And I want to see more of that. And like Brock is going to, like, everybody wants to see Brock because he's going to make money. And that's the only reason why he's there. It's kind of like The Rock. The Rock comes back one time, and that pay-per-view is going to get all a bunch of hits. So
I'm going to say a couple things and then hop off. I was talking to a friend of mine last night who is really big WWE fan, and with Bayley coming back, and with this faction that she started, one of those girls being a someone that was let go a while back, and Triple H brought her back. And then Triple H quite literally tweeted out, "This is just the first thing that's going to happen. Like, this is the first of many steps," or whatever. I don't really know exactly what he said right off the top of my head. But with the way the show flowed and everything, I asked him, I was like, "So what do you think? Like, if this is, because of my understanding, this is Triple H did all this now. Like, he's had creative control." And so do you like it? Do you think, are you excited for the future? And he honestly was like, "Yeah, I'm super excited for it." So, I think Triple H, a lot of people have said Triple H needs to be in control of creative for a long time. I've been one of the people that said that, but I haven't watched WWE in a while. I have kept up with it though. The other thing that I wanted to say is, one thing that I used to be kind of in that same camp of like, look, I'm so tired of seeing the same matches, or I'm just tired of seeing Brock Lesnar, because I wasn't the hugest fan of Brock Lesnar. But what works, and Roman Reigns, but what works with both of them is their characters have remained fresh, and that's a good thing. Which is probably why it's super easy to watch Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns go at it, because when they started going at it to begin with, it was, he was, Roman Reigns was Superman basically, and Brock Lesnar was the super beast Suplex City guy. And now in this stage of their fighting, he's the Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. He's got, he's somewhat a heel. I don't think he's super heel anymore. I'm not really too sure, but he's somewhat a heel. He's got Brock Lesnar's advocate. He's got the tribe around him, or the family around him, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar's a farm boy, which is just the stupidest, coolest thing ever, because it is actually who Brock Lesnar is in real life. He's a farm boy. And they're letting him play to his strengths. It looks like they're letting him have fun. It looks like he's having fun, to be honest with you. It's not out there just for a paycheck. He might be, but he looks like he's having a lot of fun. So it remains fresh. And yeah, I didn't watch SummerSlam, but I do think one of the coolest things that's happened in a while is Brock Lesnar destroying a ring with a freaking tractor. And then he stayed around afterwards, after the show went off, and hung out with the fans for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. So, if they keep fighting, cool, especially if their characters remain fresh, and whatnot. But I kind of think WWE is potentially going in a good direction, a much needed good direction. I don't hate Vince McMahon, but even without the scandals, I've thought for a long time maybe it was time for him to step down, help out, but step down as much as he could, because he's still Vince McMahon. He's still knowledgeable about the business. But I wanted to see Triple H take over, and if it starts getting good, I'll probably start watching it regularly again. And I trust Triple H with the product. So that's what I wanted to say. And sorry, there's not gonna be any rebuttals from me. I'm about to hop off because all that good stuff.
You're good.
But anyways, that's my point. That's my piece. You guys have a blast. And we're making sure that it's not going to end the meeting for all, which is not. You are still the host, Randy. So
all right.
I'm helping off too. It was good. Looking forward to the next one.
Ross, you have any more comments or anything? You're good?
No, I'm good for right now.
All right, man.
Say about it. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. I will holler at you later. Thank you, Ross.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. See you later.
See ya.
Later.
All right, David. Talk to me. What did you think? Because you wouldn't talk to me last night. Kevin and I texted back and forth the whole stinking night, and then you wouldn't text me for 5 hours.
My bad. I was really into it. I thought the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was, for me, it felt it didn't live up to expectation.
Why not?
For me, because I saw it one-sided, and from what I've seen on YouTube is like Paul Heyman telling Roman he needs to be more savage-like. He needs to be.
Well, how did you see it one-sided?
Because Brock was doing all the damage, and I just saw Roman only surviving to get the win. That was my thing when I was seeing. I was like, man, I want Roman to go out there, just let him know that, yeah, you're maybe the beast, but I'm here too.
Well, here's my thing, and I get it. I guess I can kind of see that because he was kind of surviving, and he was trying to just do whatever he could to get Brock to stay down. But can you have Brock Lesnar get beat either fairly or get dominated and actually be able to have him ever come back? You know what I mean? Because Kevin and I have talked about this before. Brock Lesnar, when he shows up, and I talked about this in the last podcast. Everybody's like, well, Brock Lesnar again. Why is he in the title hunt? Da 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 da. But a couple years ago, well, yeah. But when he showed up at Money in the Bank as that special sixth entry and won the Money in the Bank, everybody's like, why does he get to be that? But my thing was, I never expected him to be the sixth entry. And so I was like, that's awesome. And then have him to win it, like, it doesn't seem like Brock Lesnar in his career would be a Money in the Bank person. It's either an up-and-coming person like Theory or somebody that's probably going to try to get a push or something. But like Brock Lesnar doesn't need a push. But yeah, he's, so it was just totally by surprise for me. And like last night, he starts walking to the ring, turns around, drives a tractor. I thought the tractor was going to be used to put put the front loader down and like hold someone down. I really thought when that happened that Brock Lesnar was going to knock him out. And I saw at one point where Roman Reigns was like crawling to the area. I was like, he's fixing to lay it on him where Roman Reigns can't get up. But Roman Reigns needed all that crap thrown on Brock Lesnar. He needed his two bodyguards, and then pretty much, I know it's not real, but Theory pretty much screwed up Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. But I kind of predicted that though.
Well, I know
Like,
I predicted Theory to come down there. What I mean is
that,
Brock Lesnar could have won if he could have kept beating him up, but he had to come in and be like, Theory just kind of screwed him over, in a way.
Yeah, after Bobby Lashley's match, which was kind of, disappointing as well, because he said some things like, "Oh, you can't cash in if you're going to be in the hospital." All right, but yet you didn't damage him, because at the end of the night, he came down the ramp, tried to screw cash in, which I knew Brock was 100%.
I think I saw something where ever since he's won the Money in the Bank, he's like 0-8 or something. Like he hasn't even won a match. So it's like, so the guy that's supposed to be the next champion potentially.
But that's what Vince does. But
I mean, he did the same thing with Drew McIntyre, right? Claimed him as his like prodigy, the next champion, right? Wins the Intercontinental. Doesn't really get much of a push after that. Same way with Theory. He's just, to me, he reminds me of like 2002, 2003 John Cena, right? Just little younger, but has a mouth on him.
Yeah.
And you can tell in some of his like selling. I look back at 2002 and 2003. I watched some of Cena's selling, and it reminds me when I see Theory. I'm like, oh, that's what John Cena would do. I mean, he's pretty much got the same build as Cena. I was like, oh yeah, it's just a rebranded John Cena, but this one has a mouth on him, and he's overly confident.
So what was your favorite match of the night?
I would say, I think Logan Paul, which surprised me.
Here we go.
Which surprised me.
All right, never mind. You're done talking.
I would say Pat McAfee, because he always does so well, and I love when Michael Cole gets hyped. I used to hate on Michael Cole.
Well, Michael Cole got bleeped out last night because he said GD.
Yeah.
When Brock Lesnar was picking up the ring, he said that, and I was kind of shocked. But then again, we're going to that new era, so.
Well, and plus it's rumored that they're going to TV 14.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But like me and William were talking about the Lesnar and Roman. Like William was like, "Oh man, I need to see blood between these brutes." I'm like, "Yeah, it would be cool, but like Roman would have to beat the crap out of Brock Lesnar," and then it was just so one-sided to me. I'm like, I mean, there was some like great spots. Yes, the tractor one was awesome. I like that because I did not expect that one at all.
Did you see the catch that Roman when Brock threw the microphone at him?
Oh yeah, I was like,
pretty slick catch.
Looked, I'm like, man, he's gonna jump on him. I didn't think he was gonna like Lou Thez press him. I thought like maybe
that was pretty cool when he jumped off the top of the tractor and landed on him.
Yeah.
So like, I think my worst. I didn't get to see much of the Uso Street Profits thing.
That was a good one.
I was busy at that time. I think that was when I was putting kids to bed. I didn't care for the last Lashley Theory match. I don't know if it's just because I don't care too much for Bobby Lashley. And I know Theory's supposed to be like, the next big thing, according to Vince McMahon at the time. But like Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, I knew that was going to be kind of big. I guess this is the turn of Becky Lynch being good. They brought back Bayley. I was expecting one more person to show up and make it like a 3-on-3 thing. But kind of wondering where Logan Paul will go from here.
I like the finish though. I didn't like from Bianca and Becky. Like some of the parts of the match got kind of stale for me. Where I was just like, come on, let's do something. And then the finish happened. I was like, okay, whoa, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Becky coming in the ring to help somewhat even the odds with Bianca was unexpected. That I love.
The Mysterios, I was kind of curious what was going to happen with Dominic. Now, here's my thing. Kevin and I have talked about this a lot. And so you have Judgment Day, who's supposed to be Dominic.
And they haven't been.
And I think they were more dominant, it seems like, when Edge was there. But this whole past month, there's been all these little videos and stuff. And it's like, you do these videos for when like someone's been hurt, like Jericho will be out 6 months and do these little secret videos, and showing he's coming. And sometimes you don't know who it is. Undertaker will do this little thing because he hasn't been there since WrestleMania, but like Edge has only been gone for a month. And so a lot of people were thinking, well, could it be Bray Wyatt? Because he's been saying things like patience, and
it's almost time.
But it's like, what? So like, what was this whole deal about? Why make this big thing for Edge, who has been wrestling for the last couple of years? Why make it so special for him?
I think
it's
not for Edge. I think because there was a video, me and William got to see it. There was a video off air. It was Edge talking to Bray. Like I was like, okay, so now so Edge is waking up, the Fiend to come down and rain judgment on Judgment Day. But it's kind of like, okay, we're not ready for Bray yet. And I mean, but we all been waiting for him. I mean, SummerSlam would have been the perfect time. But I guess we're not there yet.
Well, because my thing is, so technically there is like, I was thinking, well, what happens now since like Edge is in the ring? Like, I was thinking, well, is Dominic going to turn? And that's who Dominic was going to join. He wasn't going to join Judgment Day. And he's going to join Edge and attack Ray. And now they've got their own little thing. And like, it was just a bunch of little things going on since I have talked about this. But like I said, Liv Morgan, we talked about it a while ago.
I think that was, you could tell off the bat. That was like the least entertaining match.
It was shorter than the Bobby Lashley match. The Bobby Lashley match lasted 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I just wasn't entertained. I was like, yeah, I just know Ronda's just gonna beat her up, and then somehow Liv will like pick the win.
Like we didn't see Liv really do anything at all.
Yeah, I was like,
for the match that's supposed like, I'm not saying that you should have all the crappy matches at the beginning. But the match that has Ronda Rousey in it, that's going to be the next to last match, I felt like it should have been bigger. Like, let's have more of a fight before you do that,
I mean, to be honest with you, you could replace that match, put it in the beginning, and put Bianca and Becky in that position.
Yeah.
Then you live up from that, the ending, and then you lead to the main event. Because I don't know why they did that. I mean, because I have a problem watching Ronda Rousey as a wrestler. Not to judge her, because I can't do what any of those guys can do, or girls. Her mic skills need a lot of work. For her to be entertaining, they're just using her like MMA. And she wasn't much of a talker either in MMA. She always backed it up during action. Other than that, I mean, she's kind of much of a stale wrestler and not entertaining whatsoever. And I have a problem when she comes in. all like happy, yada yada, but then she goes into this warrior. Like, no, if you're portraying this sort of bad character, right? You're supposed to walk down, act like you know, your stuff don't stink. Like you're above everybody. I'm Ronda Rousey. I'm better than you. But she don't. That's where I have an issue with the character.
Well, it's just like where they've got either they need to have somebody talk for her, or she just got to work on it.
Yeah. Like Paul Heyman would be a good advocate for her.
Kevin, what was your worst match last night?
Worst match was Liv and Ronda. I had high hopes for it. Just really with Liv more so than Ronda, because I agree. I don't care for Ronda. I've got tired of her a while back whenever she went on and was talking about how she hates wrestling and this, just talking crap, about wrestlers. And I don't know if it was a shoot or work, but I think it's just a shoot, because it really ticked a lot of wrestlers off, and rightfully so. And then she just all of a sudden just she comes back and everything, and I don't know, she just rubs me the wrong way, and just has no personality out there. Like whenever she first came into the WWE, you could tell she was excited, because she says she's been a lifelong wrestling fan, and like she's been at events before her UFC career was over, and she was at SummerSlam several years back, and so she's been a fan, and she was excited whenever she first got there, and then it just seemed like she got, I don't know what happened. It just seemed like her attitude changed, and then she went on some radio or podcast and just talking to crap about wrestlers and this and that. She just, I don't know. I do think that she poses she's brutal out there. I do like her style sometimes, but then other times it just is a lot to be desired. And Liv, they just portrayed her as just being scared the whole match. I would have liked for her to, to bring a little bit more. I didn't mind the finish. I didn't mind that at all, because you give your champion the win while also protecting Ronda as well. And it's it was kind of like the finish 2015 between Brock Lesnar and Taker, where Taker was, or Brock, he flipped off Taker, and he passed out, I believe, and never tapped out or anything. But and so I didn't mind the finish, but as far as the match, I just didn't care for.
Yeah,
It also reminded me when Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. Remember when that whole Undertaker tapped out but pinned Kurt Angle situation? I don't remember the year.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
You remember when it was like, the tap succeeds the pin?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when
that's when it got me. Like that finish, I was like, I turned to Williams. Hey, it reminds me of Angle and Undertaker.
It even it's similar to like when Rock and Big Show. I don't know if it was Royal Rumble or whatever it was, but like,
Rock's
the Rock was supposed to win, and the Rock was knocking out the Big Show out of the ring, but Rock's foot hit.
Yeah, that's Royal Rumble 2000.
And so they declared Rock the winner, and Big Show said something about it. Even The Rock, when he came back to like one of the shows, he walked around like, remember that time? It was like live on TV, a couple years ago when he returned. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So here, this is kind of off the subject of it, but like I'm looking, and David, like I said, I know Kevin and I talk about this a lot, but like, the Universal Championship that was created,
Mhm.
Finn Balor wrestled Seth Rollins and he won it. Finn Balor was the inaugural Universal Champion
The first one ever. Yeah.
and had to vacate the next night because he suffered an injury because of the move that Seth Rollins did.
Yeah.
And so that was in 2016. I don't know when he came back from the injury, but that's been 6 years ago. Like he won that at SummerSlam. So 6 years ago, and Finn Balor has not been in the title hunt since.
Yeah, why
Like
not
he's
give
even been
him-
dropped down to NXT. Usually you
Yeah.
drop down to NXT to reestablish your character. People loved him. People loved him coming out and throwing his hands up and loved his character, going from either who he was or to the demon. Like people
Yeah,
like
but you
him.
barely even see. You don't. He barely even does the demon anymore.
Well, he didn't do the demon all the time either, but that's my thing though. But because if you do the demon, then you're gonna get bored of it because he wins all the time with the demon. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
do it all the
but,
time,
like-
then you lose. It's gonna be like the Undertaker streak. But like
There's
Okay, but he only
rumors.
uses it on. He only uses it like during like specific pay-per-views.
I know that, but that's not what
Right.
I'm saying. I'm just talking about his character people love. So why is he like he didn't get like Roman Reigns, he comes back on some boom, he's automatically in the title thing. Brock Lesnar disappears and all of a sudden he's in like look like yeah, Brock
I think-
Lesnar is in the title hunt last night. So and I get
Okay,
it,
I
Brock
think-
Lesnar brings money, but why not Finn Balor?
I think it has to do with like who can make the most money. Like who can you
But
sell?
Finn Balor was an attraction. Like
Yeah,
Kevin
I
and I
know.
like Finn Balor.
I mean,
Like why would
Vince never did give him a chance to make money.
Yeah,
exactly.
but that's what I'm
But
saying,
that's
David.
what I'm saying. Like it's hard. It's hard to judge what.
If you're
Well, like,
saying he's going to be
Vince
your
did.
first champion, you're not even giving it to Seth Rollins, who was already established. You're giving it to Finn Balor, who just came on the scene into WWE. So you were going to invest into him, and all of a sudden you're like, no, he's hurt. And so then a week later, Kevin Owens wins it over Big Cass, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. He keeps it for 6 months, loses it to Goldberg, because you just want to give Goldberg a title one more time. And then Goldberg loses it to Brock, which, that wasn't that pretty much to give Brock the win against Goldberg kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he kept it,
for the long time. Didn't
Yeah,
you lose it to Kofi?
no, he lost it to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Oh, that was was it Daniel Bryan who lost it to Kofi?
Yeah, I think Daniel Bryan lost it to
But-
Kofi.
Brock Lesnar kept it for a year and a half. Roman Reigns got it. He kept it for a couple months. Then because he got leukemia, he had to drop it. And then they went to Saudi Arabia, and Brock Lesnar beat Braun Strowman. So he got it back. He kept it for half the time, and Seth Rollins got it back. He kept it for a couple months. Well, actually, he won it at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar won it again because he cashed in his contract that he had. Seth Rollins beat him again at SummerSlam. And then here's another guy I think that should have gotten more of it. Bray Wyatt started his Fiend character, won it at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept it for 119 days until Goldberg at Saudi Arabia again. So it was October 31st, there was the Crown Jewel. Then they go back to Saudi Arabia in February. And then they give it to Goldberg. And then Goldberg keeps it for a month and loses it to Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. Like, that was the dumbest thing to me, too. And I understand that was during the whole COVID stuff, but Braun Strowman gets it. He keeps it for 6 months, and the Fiend gets it back for a week. He wins it at SummerSlam, gets it for a week. And August 30th of 2020 at Payback, Roman Reigns gets it, and he's had it since.
I think it's just poor booking, poor writing.
Well, and I get that. Like me and Kevin have talked about this is what needs to happen. This is what needs to happen, you know.
Yeah, I mean, us alone literally could write a story.
Well, we could. Kevin and I
I
have
mean,
talked
to be
about
honest
this
with you,
thing.
because like for instance, like the people want Dominic to turn. I could literally come up with a story, like have the Mysterios lose several matches over like maybe a period of a month or two,
Well,
right? And then Dominic getting tired of Ray always giving him advice. Oh, we'll
here's
get
my
him
thing.
this and that.
I would even twist it. People think, oh, Dominic's going to turn. Dominic's going to turn. Switch it up and have Ray turn.
Yeah.
You know, no one would expect that. Just kind of like, Kevin and I also said that there should be 3 people, or there should be certain people that know. So
Oh yeah.
back in the
we
day,
talked about
Vince
it.
McMahon. So we'll say Vince McMahon and the creative team knew. That's the only ones. And then you go and you have a meeting with, let's say, Undertaker and CM Punk. They're wrestling. They know what the story is going to be about.
Yeah.
So if it gets out who's going to win or who's going to make the surprise entrance to screw CM Punk or Undertaker, then that means
somebody snitch.
Yeah. So Vince McMahon could be like, you know what, Kevin, David, you were the only ones that knew. And the wrestlers, and you could hold everybody to account. You know, you could say the wrestlers, don't need to talk. Like, and I know it would be tough, but like there's people that they're just writers and they have an inside thing of talking to certain people that can say, well, supposedly they're doing this, or they changed the story, or they did this and they did that. Like Edge. Kevin said that there was reports of Edge being seen in Nashville. Well, that shouldn't have happened. Whether Edge got out, Edge should not have went out to eat. Or
Chris Jericho used to do everything in his power to make sure people did not know that he was coming back. Like I remember in 2012, whenever he was coming back, he would post pictures like, oh, I'm skiing and this and that. I'm not.
But then there was that picture of him standing coming out of the terminal of the airport. And people were like, what about this picture today? He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in Utah, Yeah. And it's like, well, crap, Jericho, you're flown on a commercial plane.
Yeah.
You should have paid extra money and got a private airplane. But so let's go back to kind of what Ross was talking about. So even though Brock brings the money, David, what's your take on the whole seeing Brock Lesnar and them again?
What, them fighting again?
Yeah. Like, are you fine with it? Not fine with it?
No, I'm not fine with it.
Why?
Because you got a bunch of talent in the back waiting for an opportunity.
Okay.
And you're just waiting. You're wasting away.
You're wasting away. Ross made a comment about everything being so predictable. What talent would have stepped up last night at SummerSlam to make you think they might win? Because I get it, Roman Reigns is probably going to win, but then again, I kind of Kevin.
Nobody's paying $300 or $400 to see Kofi Kingston versus Roman Reigns in the main event of SummerSlam, though.
Exactly.
Well, okay, I understand that, but like, they're the people they call up to NXT, the ones that have momentum, right? Once they get to the main roster, I feel like they're like, oh, we'll think of something to come. We'll come up with something.
Well, my thing is, who do you think right now would be the main event at SummerSlam against Roman Reigns?
Well,
because they even said if Brock Lesnar didn't get to make it, they were going to just stick Goldberg in there.
Yeah, but you're asking a like Goldberg. Hey, yeah, don't do what you're doing. You've been doing. Go out there and actually, wrestle. And the dude doesn't know how to wrestle.
Because think about this. Somebody even said, I saw something the other day, well, it's been a short period of time. You've had them wrestle 7 times in so many years. Their first match was in 2015. So in 7 years, that means they've only been fighting once a year. When Rock and Triple H were fighting it seemed like every pay-per-view. Sometimes in triple threat matches, sometimes it was, they fought in 20-something pay-per-views between, and I don't know, probably we'll say mid-90s to early 2000s, because I'm pretty sure Triple H and Rock's, when he went to the movies, didn't have another storyline. I think Rock was pretty much against Stone Cold and Brock and people like that. Kevin and I,
even Goldberg at one point.
like, he pretty much fought the big guys. He didn't really get in those storylines again to go against the McMahon Helmsley era and people like that. John Cena was establishing himself to go against JBL and those. But again, like, who could just step in the WWE right now to say, man, that's a match, and that match is going to make money, and that match, I don't know who's going to win.
I think Seth Rollins would have been a good backup plan, because
but how does he fit that storyline? Because he's supposed to fight Goober. So, like, how does you just say, okay, he's going to step in there?
Okay, but like, that like Seth Rollins wants to fight Roman, like, in the near future. But why not? You could easily make money off of that.
I think the big thing,
but I don't see Seth Rollins winning that.
Well, he doesn't have to win it.
But that's my thing, though. I don't want to watch something knowing, like, that's the reason why people don't watch wrestling nowadays. It's because everybody goes, like, I don't know. I think it was like 3 years ago, the WrestleMania pay-per-view. Every single match, I knew who was going to win, because you're not going to give this title away because you've already said that this person's going to fight here. This person is fixing to leave because they're fixing to shoot a movie. So, like, out of the 8 different matches, I knew 7 of them what was going to happen. And that's boring to me. Now, if you put on a great match, you put on a great match, but you know who's going to win. Like last night, did I think Reigns was probably going to win? Yeah. But there was still that opportunity, like Kevin and I talked about. You could have Theory come in. Roman has said he wants time off. Brock Lesnar doesn't fight every week, so you can put the belt on him and he doesn't come back for a couple months. So it's things like that where, like,
okay, but like, wasn't Cody supposed to be in the match if he didn't get injured?
No, Cody's been hurt for a couple months.
The rumored match was Randy Orton versus Roman. That was the SummerSlam match. Orton got hurt,
and then it was going to be Orton and Cody at WrestleMania.
I don't know about that. I just know.
I heard that was a possibility.
Yeah,
but Orton and Cody have been injured for a couple months, so that's
I know that. But like, if I don't know, like, if Cody wasn't injured,
Cody might have been in there, but then again,
oh yeah, I guarantee you, Cody would have been the match if Cody would have been healthy. I guarantee you, they would have ran Cody versus Roman.
But it would have been entertaining, right? Yes, it would be slightly predictable, but you give it like
guess what? But you're talking about all that talent. But listen, but then again, you're talking about all that talent WWE has, but Cody is not a young guy. He's not that up and coming talent from NXT.
Well, you want Riddle?
No, that's not. No, I'm talking. No, Riddle. No, sir. But you're talking about all that talent, but yet you're saying Cody. So
if we're talking about like replacements,
I'm not talking about replacements. I'm talking about, this is a boring match because you don't want to see Brock and Roman again. So I was saying, who would make that kind of money that you would want to see as a main event? And Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, if you're saying that's it, then that's not up and coming talent like you're talking about. You're saying all this talent that they have.
Like, okay, so like, you don't want to see like Ciampa?
No. That is not who I'd want to see go against Roman Reigns in
the main event. And you give him time to work, build him up, but not the main event of SummerSlam.
Like, that's a payback or a Saudi Arabia match. Like, look at Drew McIntyre. He's the number 1 contender, and he didn't even get to fight him last night.
Okay, what about Sheamus?
What has Sheamus done?
Okay, but he hasn't won a title though.
Yeah, in
in,
forever.
like in a while.
But what has Sheamus done to earn to be the number one contender?
That I have no idea.
Like Drew McIntyre
I-
again, he's the number one contender at the Castle. Like,
And that's a match why I didn't understand why they didn't put that on SummerSlam as opposed to. I mean, why put it on SmackDown when you have that match on SummerSlam? I didn't get that.
But that's my thing. Like, but then that's where I'm hoping Vince McMahon or Triple H fixes all these problems and kind of pushes certain people. Now, like, do I think WrestleMania needs to be full of just like these, random things? No, because that is big time stuff. But I do want to see if they can do it. I do want to see Rock wrestle, if he can still do it, because everybody wants to see Undertaker do it. Brock Lesnar still looks good. There was a couple times at WrestleMania I was like, I'm done seeing Undertaker. He looks too old, too slow. He needs to give it up. He's not, especially after the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker or Triple H matches. I just felt like he was getting to that point. But
yeah,
like Kevin said, when Brock comes out, like I enjoyed seeing Goldberg spear him a couple times and jackhammer, and it was over. That was a great match. It was.
I would be fine with Brock and Roman 80 more times as opposed to the flipping and flopping we get every week now.
Like it's just the fact that it's kind of like people wanting to just see home runs in baseball and Steph Curry shoot threes. Like seeing Brock want to be powerful in Suplex City and F5s and Roman coming through and doing those power moves and Superman punches.
Yeah, but I just feel at some point it does get stale. Like I would be like, man, where's the like fluid motion? Like where's the clothesline? Where's the other stuff that comes with it? Like, okay, yeah, you could
when
do
other people can't sell it
time,
and they can't get the main events. Look, you got to be able to sell it and get the main events. If you like I see too many people that botch those moves that are supposed to be the next kind of big thing. Because that's the reason why Riddle has gotten better, because he's had Orton working with him.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, Ronda Rousey is in that situation where people are going, I don't want to see Ronda Rousey. She can't talk. At one point, that's the reason why people didn't want to see Roman Reigns, because he could not talk. Brock Lesnar has just been silly on the mic, and I've loved it. But he never talked because he had Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I think that over the next, especially, I know last week was Triple H's first week, under creative and stuff, but I really believe that, especially starting this week, because they did stick to a lot of what Vince had already set in stone. And so I think that this week and over the next several months, I think that we'll start seeing more cohesive storytelling. And I think that Triple H will do a lot better of a job of building up, these guys from NXT, because NXT is his baby. Yeah. And I think that he'll do a lot better. Like Brian Breaker from NXT, you got a ready-made star right there. Bring him on up and shoot him to the moon.
Yeah. All right, guys.
What about the Sasha and Naomi thing?
Well, supposedly there's been talks I've seen that somebody's trying to reach out to them.
I don't think they'll come back.
Well, that's what they always said about certain wrestlers that came back to Vince McMahon. And now since Vince, and those worked out, but then again, they might not have a good relationship with Vince. Now Triple H is back. Didn't they say something about those two girls that were with Bailey?
Yeah, they just released one of those, and they're on SummerSlam.
So who knows?
We're gonna get probably with Triple H's long-term storytelling.
Like Triple H might be able to bring some people back that know that they can be used right. So All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. What I want to do is, I know Ron and Ross don't watch wrestling as much. So what I would like to do is maybe a different time during the week or something, the three of us, since we watch it a little bit more than them, until maybe, like they said last time, or even tonight, if wrestling got to be, storylines got to be a little bit better, a little bit more intriguing, they would probably watch it more, because Ross, used to watch it religiously, and same with Ron, and so Ron just kind of kept up with SummerSlam, and Ross watched some of it and watched the last event. So I would like to have just a WWE talk with the two of us, if y'all are interested in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Dave, does that sound good?
Yeah, I can barely keep up with college sports.
That's fine. But that'll be it for this talk tonight. So so that's going to be the end of this podcast. It's going to be a continuation like my last podcast. Kevin, thanks for joining us last minute. David, thanks for joining us. We missed you last time. So, but
You're
that'll
welcome.
be us signing off till next time. See y'all later.
All righty.